Hi, everybody. I'm here with Hal Elrod. And you guys, I cannot express the change and the difference the Miracle Morning has made for me in my life. And I've known Hal for a long time, and he is a best-selling, amazing author. There's twelve international books, and the movie is coming out. I want to talk about the movie today, and it's truly just made a huge impact with my life and the life of all the tribes that I'm part of. And so, Hal, deeply thank you so much for doing this interview, and for everything that you do for elevating the consciousness of humanity. So thank you.
Kristin, it's a privilege. It really is, not just to be here with you, but I mean to do the work that I do. I heard Oprah say that once, that it's a privilege to be able to do work that makes people's lives better. And I resonate with that. Also, you speak the way you said, elevating the consciousness of humanity. You're very articulate. I always fumble through that. I'm like, elevating the consciousness, like I always mess it up. So I really loved how articulate you said that. But anyway, I'm excited to be here, and thank you for. I love spending time with you. So to do it in this forum is a treat.
I thank you, Hal. Well, so I have some things. I'm excited. A few questions came in from people too, and I want to start with talking about taking the book and creating the movie. And I have the savers behind me here for anybody. If you could do a quick synopsis of the Miracle Morning, and then how did you take this national best-selling book, turn it into a movie? And then there were so many challenges. How, like, tell us about that. Like, I'm excited to hear about
Yeah. All
it.
right. So we'll start with what the Miracle Morning is. The Miracle Morning, I think it's changed more people into a morning person that were not a morning person before that their whole life, and I was one of those people. And the Miracle Morning is a morning routine that in 2008, when the United States economy crashed, I kind of crashed with it, and like a lot of millions of people did, and I needed something to turn my life around, and I started just looking online. What do the world's most successful people do for their daily routines and rituals? And I came across 6 practices: meditation, or in the frame of the Miracle Morning, the SAVERS acronym is what makes up these 6 practices: SAVERS. Silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So the first S is for silence. That's your prayer or your meditation time. Scientifically proven to lower your cortisol levels, improve your ability to focus, right? The idea of meditating every morning to start your day puts you in a calm, centered state, and you gain wisdom, right? We typically, our mind is so busy. We wake up, we check email, we open our phone, and there's no silence for us to take in the wisdom of God, infinite intelligence, our own subconscious, which is brilliant, but you can't hear your subconscious unless you're in a period of silence. And so starting your day that way is arguably the best way to start your day. The A is for affirmations, and affirmations kind of have a bad rap as like being these goofy statements to yourself, like, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, I can do anything. Those aren't the kind of affirmations I'm talking about. For me, an affirmation is a well written statement from you in your own words that articulates and reminds you of something that is very important to you. Could be something that you want to think about consistently, right? You want to change your thoughts. You want to change your emotions, your feelings. You want to direct your focus. You want to change your behavior. When you affirm something every day that is in alignment with what you aspire to think, believe, feel, do, focus on, right? You literally reprogram your subconscious mind to start to think and feel and live in alignment with whatever your affirmation says. The V in Sabres is for visualization. And visualization, you don't have to look any further than the world's greatest athletes in every sport, from professional athletes to Olympians. They swear by visualization. And it's the idea that you wake up in the morning and you close your eyes and you first see something that you want in your life, and you vividly imagine it so much and so often that you start to acclimate to that possibility feeling real. For most of us, when we imagine something we want in our lives, it feels so far off, right? If you're dreaming of something, this huge dream that's way in the future, it feels unbelievable. And so most of us discount it and we go, I'm just going to go back to life as I know it. But when you invest time to visualize your ideal future, specific aspects of each goal. What do you want your body to look like? What do you want to feel like? How much money do you want? Whatever it is. The more you see it, the more it feels real, and you go from it feeling like a pipe dream to, if you see it often enough through visualization, you feel like it's inevitable. And the second part of visualization that's crucial is see yourself engaged in the activities today that will move you toward that dream. You can't just visualize the finish line. You have to see yourself going for the run. You got to see yourself making the phone calls. You got to see yourself doing the work today in an optimal emotional state that will compel you to do the work that will make that future vision a reality. The E in Savers is for exercise. And you don't need to go to the gym in the morning, but you do need to get your blood flowing. You've got to get blood and oxygen to your brain. You have to wake up your lymphatic system, right? I'm just talking about 5 or 10 minutes of, jumping jacks, stretching. If it's not too cold outside, I go for a bike ride. That's my favorite form of exercise. I just bike right through my neighborhood. I'm getting fresh air. I'm getting sunshine. I'm seeing nature, and I'm pumping my legs on that bike. The R in Savers is for reading, and reading is, again, not rocket science, but think about if you read 5 pages a day, that's the equivalent of 1,800 and something pages a year, or 9 200-page self-help books. If you're averaging about a book a month on how to improve your health, your wealth, your relationships, your parenting, you name it, you can't stay the same person. And as you grow and improve, you're able to grow and improve the areas of your life that you apply it to. And the final S in Savers is for scribing, which is a fancy word for writing, right? But every day journaling, for me, it's 2 things. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, and I ponder each. I feel each. I close my eyes, and I sit in that feeling of gratitude for my kids, or my life, or my wife, or whatever I'm focused on that day. And then I look at my to-do list, I look at my goals, and I go, okay, I've got 20 things I could focus on today. What are the 3 and what's the number 1 that will make the biggest impact in my life and move me toward the vision that I've created for the future? So that was a Cliff Notes, like those are the Savers. That's what the Miracle Morning is made of. And you can do that anywhere from 6 minutes, right? 1 minute each, literally the 6-minute Miracle Morning, all the way to most people, about 82% of Miracle Morning community members, practitioners have said they do a 60-minute version, about 80%. So that's the Miracle Morning. And then we can get into the movie now, but I wanted to you asked for an overview of what it is. So I wanted to give people some content right up front so that we didn't just tease the content.
No, I love it. It's absolutely perfect. And I've done a few 6-minute ones myself, but an hour is my average. And that's perfect. Thank you. So tell us about the movie and the challenge of making it and what happened during the movie. Like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah. So we started filming in 2014. What happened is one of my good friends, Nick Conadera, is a filmmaker. And he came to my house for dinner one night, and he just casually was asking for advice on what his next project should be. And he was talking about the Miracle Morning. He goes, the Miracle Morning, Hal, is such a word of mouth phenomenon. How can I do that with a movie? And I said, well, the reason the Miracle Morning is a word of mouth phenomenon is it changes people's behavior immediately and in a meaningful, simple way that enhances and improves the quality of their life. I said, so they start telling everybody about it, right? I go, if you make a funny movie, they might tell people about it for a few days, but then they're going to forget. But for me, the Miracle Morning, people are doing it years after they read the book, so they're still talking about it. So we started brainstorming what are films that he could make, and I asked him, what might you want to empower people to know or do in their life? And we're talking for like a half an hour about, helping people make money or this or that. And Nick goes, why don't we do a documentary on the Miracle Morning? And it was like, duh. Like, it was such an obvious thing. We're talking about why the Miracle Morning changes lives, and how could he make a movie that does that? And it just made, So my response to him was, oh my gosh, I love that idea. And his vision, by the way, this is a big part of what the movie became. He said, Hal, I want to follow you on this journey where you're on this mission to change millions of lives. It's a really fascinating story. He said, and then I would love to film people in the community that have lost weight, overcome depression, made money, achieved a dream. And he said, I'd love to weave their stories into the film. He said, and then what if we leveraged your network and we reached out to some of the world's most influential, inspiring, successful people. And we, went into their home and actually filmed them doing their morning routine and actually showed people, how do the world's most successful people, what do they do? He goes, that would go beyond the book because that's not part of the book. And I was like, I love the idea, but I'm so busy, like, maybe next year. And Nick, he's very persistent. And I would get texts from him like on the daily. And he'd go, when are we doing the movie? When are we doing the movie? And I would just blow him off. And, someday. And he figured out how to get through to me in terms of my values. He called me and I said, what's going on? He said, Hal, what's your mission with the Miracle Morning? And at that time I said, it's to elevate the consciousness of humanity one morning at a time. Why do you ask? He said, what percentage of humanity reads personal development books? And like immediately I started to go, oh, I get where he's going with this. And I go, yeah, like 1 or 2%. He said, what percentage watch movies? And I kind of jokingly, I was like, the other 98%, or give or take, at least in developed countries. And I go, we're making a movie. We're like, and his point was, Hal, if you want to reach the masses, like to elevate consciousness, you can't have it in a book that 98% of people don't know about or don't read. He said, but if it's an easy referral, like, hey, I just saw this movie, turn on put on Netflix or go to Amazon or whatever, like watch this movie. He said that might lead him to the book, but that's an easy way where they're going to watch the movie and then they're going to know about the Miracle Morning. They're going to see it changing lives and they're going to consider that, hey, it could do that for me too. So we started filming the movie almost immediately. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was the first influencer that said, absolutely, he's a huge fan of the Miracle Morning. He's read the book 3 times. Him and his wife do it every day. Yeah, so cool. And so he was in the movie. He was the first person. And now we featured Mel Robbins, author of the 5-Second Rule, Brendan Burchard, Lewis Howes from the School of Greatness, Robin Sharma, like some of my heroes in this world, which is so cool. And then to answer your question, what happened during filming that completely changed what the movie became? It's wild. Could have never predicted this, but 2 years into filming, we were a little over halfway done. I was diagnosed with a rare aggressive form of cancer, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a blood cancer. And I was given a 20 to 30% chance of survival. That's the survival rate, 20 to 30%. And, with a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son at the time, nothing scarier. And I called Nick from the hospital bed when I was getting hooked up for my first chemo session, and which happened within 24 hours of being diagnosed. And I said, Nick, the movie's on hold. You'll never believe this. I have cancer. It's a very aggressive one. They're saying that I could be dead in 2 weeks if this doesn't work. So the movie's on hold. And Nick and I talked for a while. He was there as a friend for me. And then he called me back the next day and he said, Hal, I would love to come film you going through this journey. And I was like, what? And he goes, Hal, this is your story. This movie is your story, is the core of it. And this is a part of the story. He goes, you're going to beat this cancer. I have no doubt. And we've got to film this journey because I know you're going to do it in the most inspiring, positive, optimistic way. And it could help a lot of people. And it was so out of my mindset right there. It was like, live for my kids and my wife. Like, right? I don't care about the movie. I don't care if the movie never happens at that point, right? Like, I don't care about anything except being alive for my family. And so a few conversations with my wife and Nick, and I decided to let him come film me. And he was there for the 8 months that I spent in the hospital. He was at the apartment that I recovered at. He watched me up in my darkest hour multiple times. And it's all in the film. The first hour of the movie is exactly the original vision that I explained. The first hour is, it's me on this journey. Nick comes to France with me. I'm doing a media tour around France and I'm speaking in Canada, all these things. And then there's all these famous people in the movie and you're seeing their morning routines. And then there's these incredible stories of Mike Eaton, who lost 90 pounds as a result of the Miracle Morning. And Rister Ritmo from Kenya, who was blind in both eyes, a single mother, left by her husband, deeply depressed. The Miracle Morning transformed her life, and she became a motivational speaker and an author. There's all these incredible stories in the film. And then 1 hour into the movie, the last 30 minutes of the movie is a completely different movie. It's this unbelievable story of me facing death, 40 pounds lighter, bald, on chemo. And also, I will mention this in case anybody watching this is battling cancer or knows someone that's battling cancer. I do want to say this. I didn't want to do chemotherapy. And because it's poison, right? It's very toxic. And that's what most people die from, is the chemo that I was on. And so I wanted to handle my cancer holistically. Well, the research I did, and I talked to some of the best holistic doctors in the world, literally, and they said, do the chemo. Your cancer is so aggressive and fast acting. We don't have anything holistically that is proven to work for you. There is no time for you to delay. You have to do chemo. And so reluctantly, I did chemo, and this is the lesson for anybody regarding cancer, I did every holistic practice known to man as if I were not doing any chemo, as if the only chance I had of saving my life were holistic practices. I took 70 supplements a day. I juiced every day. I had an organic, primarily vegan diet. I did acupuncture every week. I did ozone sauna every week. I did coffee enemas 3 times a week, which, trust me, those are not comfortable when you first do them, right? But I did everything and I did my Miracle Morning. I meditated. I had, my biggest thing was the mindset. I maintained unwavering faith that I was going to beat the cancer. There was no other option for me. And I had affirmations that reminded me that that was my commitment. And I'll say this too. The day that I was diagnosed with cancer and given a 20 to 30% chance of surviving, I told my wife, because she was devastated and she was in tears, and I said, sweetheart, I promise you there is a 100% chance that I will be in the 20 to 30% of the people that survive this cancer. And again, I'm sharing that because I don't want to leave that unsaid. Yes, of course, you'll see all this in the movie and a lot more. But if you're watching this right now, I just want to say that if you are battling cancer, any other disease, or you're suffering from financial hardship, whatever it is, I believe that the core, crucial, central principle that will get you through anything is unwavering faith. And not unwavering faith just in a higher power. I'm talking about unwavering faith in yourself, in your body to heal, in yourself to do whatever it takes to overcome or accomplish anything that you're committed to overcoming or accomplishing. And so, in closing, the Miracle Morning movie is coming out. We're doing a live online experience where you get not only the movie, it's followed immediately by a training from me on how to implement the Miracle Morning, immediately followed by a live Q&A with me, so you can ask me any questions that you want, and then you leave with a 30-day challenge to help hold your hand over email to implement the Miracle Morning, and you get a digital download of the movie, so you'll own it forever. You can watch it as often as you want, share it with friends and family, and all of that is at miraclemorningmovie.com. And then, Kristin, I know we have a special discount for you that we can tell later.
Thank you, Hal. That was perfect. Thank you. For all the people watching, I remember when you were diagnosed with cancer, and it was not long after you'd spoke in front of a lot of people probably watching this, and that I think you spoke in front of a good, 3,000 people or something at least, but when you were here. So, everybody has been asking me for years, how's Hal doing? How's Hal doing? And, how are you and your family and 2021, what does that look like for you? And I know a lot of people watching, want to know as well. So, yeah.
Right now I'm doing great. If you would have asked me that a year ago, I would have told you that I was at the darkest place I've ever been, even worse than the cancer itself. And it's funny, or not funny, but it seems to be a common theme that a lot of people that battle cancer, the after effects of the chemo are actually worse than when they were going through it, right? It's these long-term impact that it makes. About a year ago, my brain stopped working right. Like, I couldn't think straight. I couldn't communicate. I couldn't remember anything. I had to let my entire team go. I was leading a team. We had all these initiatives. We were launching all these projects for the Miracle Morning movement. And I developed anxiety. I couldn't, it was horrible. And I literally lost the will to live. Like, every day I would I would have suicidal thoughts, and I I would even go as far as like I would ask this question: how could I, is there a way I could end my life and have it not negatively impact my family? Like I would literally try to brainstorm, like maybe if I recorded a bunch of videos with all my parenting skills, like I would literally, I was so in such a bad place. It was that bad. And I got off chemo about 4 months ago, and I mentioned this to you earlier, but my brain feels like it's mine again. Like I literally had felt like I described it as someone's controlling my brain. I'm out of control. And I got off chemo against the doctor's orders. The doctor wants me on it for a heck of a lot longer, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I cannot. I'm gonna go all natural now, and I'm feeling better than I felt in a long time, and which I'm really grateful to say. I still have some cognitive challenges for sure. But it'll take me like an hour to edit a one-page, paper or email. Like I do struggle with that, but emotionally, I'm at peace with it. I know it's just part of my journey, and I'm dealing just like all of us, right? We all have challenges and adversities that we face, and it's more how you respond than it is what's happening to you, right? And for me, I keep being reminded, and I think this movie does such a great job of really showing people a real life example of this, that your quality of life, how you feel, how happy you are, has next to nothing to do with what's happening to you, with what's going on in the world around you, and everything to do with what's going on inside of you, right? When you learn how to manage and optimize your mental and emotional state, and to be at peace with all the things you can't change and only put your energy into those things you can change, you win, right? You then achieve what I would call inner freedom or enlightenment, where you can consciously choose how you experience life in every way, even the hardest parts. You own that. And so for me, the movie, you see me at my lowest. There's this one scene in the movie where I'm on chemo. I'm hooked up to chemo. I'm in horrific pain. I've been on pain management for 11 days, and I'm bawling my eyes out, talking about how grateful I am for this moment, because the more pain we experience, the stronger we get to become by making it to the other side of the pain. Sorry, I'm getting choked up. But anyway, so for 2021, the mission continues. The Miracle Morning mission is, we've said it a few times, to elevate the consciousness of humanity one person and one morning at a time. And the book has been doing that for 8 years. And now, to me, the movie is just going to reach infinitely more people, and introduce them to the book as well if they want to go, further. But yeah, so that's my professional mission. And then my personal mission, I'm taking a little bit of a sabbatical next year. No major projects, no events. At least that's the plan. Everyone tells me like, yeah, Hal, we'll see. But I just want to be with my family. And so I've been saving money for the last few years. I was going to take this year off. And then we had this movie that I couldn't leave there. This team worked on this for 6 years. So I was like, all right, one more year, one more big project. But yeah, I'm gonna chill next year. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna do interviews. I'm just gonna go take it one day at a time, and not have too much pressure to do too much at once.
And that's fantastic. And I thank you for sharing with everybody, like personally too. And I want to go into, for the movie, a couple of things. Can you give a couple tips before we, because I have some ideas and some stuff I'd like to share for everybody for the movie, because I'm giving out over 300 to family and friends and people that I care about. And I think that it's one of the best gifts that people could give to people. And there's a 20% off, code. And I know you're doing cool things when people are getting like 500 of them and things like that. And people are doing that. And I'd
Yeah.
love to just encourage everyone to do that for their spheres, and, for everyone they care about, really,
Yeah.
everybody you care about. And can you so I get asked a lot from like friends and so on, like tips for Miracle Morning things. I'm always talking about it. I've been doing it for a few years now on a regular basis. And, when you talk about vision and affirmations, and it's very different than mainstream anything talks about those things. And I would love any tips that recently that you have for your own Miracle Morning, or that have really resonated for people, apps or just tips to help with Miracle Morning, especially those two pieces.
Yeah, let me bring up. I wrote a note down. I want to make sure I say this right around something that I did. Okay, yeah, that's right. It's the way it was phrased. All right, so I'm going to give you a few tips. The when it comes to meditation, the way that we're taught. Well, let me pause. The way that I wrote about the sabers in the book and the way I practice them are typically very results oriented, right? Like affirmations. Well, I'll get to those in a second. A lot of these practices are just kind of, you feel good while you do them, but then you don't really generate a benefit after that that's a lasting benefit, right? And I'll use affirmations actually as the example. We'll start here. The way we're taught to do affirmations, one of two ways. Number one is lie to yourself, right? Which means, like, you say, I am wealthy. Even if you're broke, you say, I am wealthy, right? Or if you're overweight, you say, I am thin. I have a six-pack, right? And so you're essentially lying to yourself. And the idea is that you're supposed to trick yourself into believing that thing is true. Now, is that premise, can that work? Absolutely. But it's never, the truth will always prevail. Like, it's never ideal to lie to yourself. So if you say, I am wealthy, and you're not, your subconscious is going to go, you're lying. This is bullshit. Like, what? And you go, shut up, I'm a millionaire. And you're like, dude, you're not even a thousandaire. Like, what are you talking about, right? And so it's like you're fighting with yourself. So the first way affirmations are taught, not great, not ideally effective. The second way is we're taught to use this flowery passive language that promises us a magical result independent of our effort. So a very popular financial affirmation that fits that would be, I am a money magnet. Money flows to me effortlessly, right?
I've heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very popular one, and that's not how money works. I think anyone that built a fortune worked their butt off to create value for the marketplace. The marketplace then paid them for the value, right? Like, it's an exchange of value. The reason people like that affirmation or that style, by the way, I think is because it does make you feel good in the moment. So it's like the affirmation becomes like a drug. Like if you're struggling financially, but then you read this affirmation that you say, oh, I'm a money magnet. That feels good. Okay. Money's flowing to me effortlessly, even though I'm not doing anything. It's just going to flow to me. Oh, that feels good, right? So that's why people like it, because the affirmation itself gives them a temporary relief of their money woes. But if I'm affirming something around finances, I want to see the bank balance improve, right? So here's 3 really simple, effective steps to create affirmations that are practical, not woo-woo, not lying to yourself, and that will produce tangible, measurable results. Step 1, affirm what you're committed to. So I am committed to blank no matter what. There is no other option. I always add no matter what, there's no other option to the end of that as like a gut check. I'm committed to blank no matter what, there's no other option, right? You're not promising yourself that something's going to magically happen. And you're also not just affirming what you want, because in life we don't get what we want unless we are committed to it. So you're affirming what you are committed to. The second step, and I'll give you an example of how all these work. Well, actually, I'll go one by one. When I had cancer, I had fear. When I started out, of course, I'm like, oh my God, what if I die? What if all the positivity in the world doesn't beat this cancer, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I can maintain unwavering faith, but what if, And so every time I had fear, especially in the beginning, and then the fear kind of subsided as a result of these affirmations, I would read this affirmation that said, I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula, Sophie, and Halston, my wife and kids. No matter what, there's no other option. And I would read it every day with conviction. And whenever I'd feel fear, I'd pull out my affirmations, and they were on my phone and they were printed on the bed. I had them in both places. And I would read it with intensity. I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula, Sophie, and Halston. No matter what, there is no other option. I am committed. And I would say it over and over until I would embody it with every fiber of my being. And here's the deal. It became my reality. My affirmation became my reality. And there's a lot of science that shows the mind-body connection, right? So for a physical ailment, we have 40 trillion cells that do our bidding. If you live in fear and you go, oh my God, I'm going to die. What if I die? I'm going to die. Your cells go, oh, I guess we're dying then. But if you go, I'm going to live, no matter what, there's no other option. I'm going to beat cancer. I'm going to heal. I'm going to live. Then your cells go, oh, I guess that's what we're doing then, right? Our cells are impartial, and I'm not a scientist. I can't give you a scientific explanation, but I've read the science.
Biology, I'm reading the biology of belief right now, and
There you
everything
go.
you said with the 40 trillion cells and stuff, like actually, totally everything you just said. Sorry. Yep. Yep.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, no, you're on it. And that's a great book as well. So the second step is, why is it deeply meaningful to you? Why is it, and another way of putting that is, why is it crucial? Affirm why it is crucial for you. Why is it crucial? Why is it deeply meaningful? So for me, it was, I will beat cancer for Ursula because I promised her forever and a day. I'll beat cancer for my son Halston because he needs my love, leadership, and guidance. I'll beat cancer for Sophie because she too needs my love, leadership, and guidance. I'll beat cancer for my dad because he gave up everything to save my life. I'll beat cancer for my mom because she doesn't deserve to lose another child. I'll beat cancer for myself because I deserve to live a long, happy, and healthy life. And I'll beat cancer for the millions of people who are themselves battling cancer or some other disease and are not blessed with the knowledge and resources that I am, and they desperately need my love, leadership, and support. Those were my whys. Those were my bullet point, why it was crucial, and that fueled the commitment for me to do whatever it took. The third step is, to your affirmations, affirm which specific actions you will take and when. So for me, it was, I will do all 650 hours of chemotherapy and trust that it is doing its job to heal me from cancer, while I simultaneously research and do every holistic practice that is available to me to combine the best of Eastern and Western medicine to heal my body completely, right? That was my specifics. And I did coffee enemas, I said 3 days a week. I had all these practices that I did. And so those 3 steps, if you get nothing else from today, right? Affirm what you're committed to. Affirm why it is deeply meaningful and absolutely crucial. And affirm which specific actions you'll take and when. And in doing so, you will program your subconscious mind. You'll direct your conscious behaviors in a way that generates and produces the result that you are committed to, the outcome that you're committed to.
Thank you. I feel like that's going to help so many people. And you can feel the passion of what you're saying and how deeply you believe in it as you were saying it. And it's a mantra that you repeated over and over again each day. And that shines through almost more than anything else, right? Like, I mean, I was moved almost pretty much to tears myself. Thank you. That's going to help me personally too, to really, really appreciate. Are there any other books that you've read recently, or anything that you're learning right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few. So a few of my favorite. Loving What Is by Byron Katie is one of the best books I've ever read. And it's very much in alignment with what I've been teaching for like 20 years about the power of accepting the things you can't change and therefore being at peace with them and not being, creating emotional turmoil. But she goes further than I did. She's brilliant. And then the other one is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. That's also one of my favorite. You too? Awesome. And then what is the other one?
I just read it. Yeah.
You just read it? There's another. I feel like there's a third one and I'm blanking on it. That's enough. You can start with those two. And The Miracle Morning, of course, that's a good one.
Yeah. If you're watching this, you haven't read that yet, that's my first recommendation.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. You agree 100%. Yeah, I'm gonna buy that book right away. And app wise, is there any new apps? Like I use Blinkist because of you, like Headspace, all these different, is there any new ones that and I know you guys are you working on one, or
we're working on one. Yeah, we've worked on one. Yeah, we have. I think we finally found the right app developer, and we've figured out what we're gonna do. And I'm such a perfectionist that luckily some of the things I get out in the world not perfect, but then some of the things I'm like I just wait and whatever. But so for me, a couple of my favorite apps for the Miracle Morning. Waking Up is the meditation app I've been using lately. It's Sam Harris. I think it's the #1 meditation app, or maybe Headspace is, but anyway, it's up there. Waking Up is a great one. And then the 5-Minute Journal. I use the 5-Minute Journal app. I've used that for years. I love that. And then for free writing, so the 5-Minute Journal has like prompts, like what are the 3 things you're grateful for? Put a picture in for the day, whatever.
It has the question too, or it has a quote too each time.
Yeah. It gives you prompts. It makes journaling kind of bullet point journaling. But for free writing, where I want to keep flowing, I use an app called Day One. It's my favorite journaling app. It now allows you to put in as many pictures as you want and video. So each day you can have, like, oh, I had an awesome day. Went to Disneyland. Like, here's, pictures and here's some videos, and it can all be in there. So you're capturing in writing your what that day meant for you, but you're also getting all the pictures and videos that go with it. And it's just a beautifully designed app.
So Hal, if you were to, and you can hear my dog in the background right now.
That's all right.
Yeah,
it's real life.
Yeah, it's real life. I may have 3 somehow. So is there any, for the movie itself, because I really want to, put out into the world that this is a wonderful thing to give to family and friends and Sphere. And, the 12th is coming really soon. So acting now is really important, and, getting everything with it. So not, you can buy it later, right? But that's the premiere, and you're going to get 2 links, the live one and then the questions afterward and the link and all the different things. And then also the link that's the movie continually, the digital copy for you. So, I think that's really important. People understand there is a time limit for it being for the premiere, and to give to everybody that you love, that's kind of, I want to put that out there. Do you have any other, you want to add like any other thought joggers to that, or
yeah, well, here's what I would tell everybody. So go to Miracle Morning Movie Live and make sure we have a code for you, so make sure remind me of that. But go to miraclemorningmovie.com. So miraclemorningmovie.com. Watch the trailer. Like it's a 2.5 or 3.5 minute trailer or whatever. Go watch the trailer. It's right there when you get to the page. That will give you an idea of everything I've talked about today. You'll see it like brought to life, and I think you'll be compelled. And then you can click to get to get your ticket. The ticket's $19.95, but I have a code for Kristin to get 20% off, which is KB 2020. So Kristin Brindley, KB 2020, and you put that out on the last page of the checkout page, and you'll get 20% off your ticket. This is the only time that you're going to get the movie, and you're going to watch it live with over 4,000 people have their tickets. So 1,000, and in countries all around the world. I mean, Australia, the UK, France, Brazil, Canada, like you name it, right? So we're going to watch it together live. And then the beauty of it is, for that ticket price, you're not just getting the movie, it's immediately followed by the training, immediately followed then by the Q&A, and then the new 30-day challenge. So, and then the digital download. So you get it all in like one package. And this won't be, we're not ever planning on offering this again, trying to think if there's anything else. And you mentioned
you're giving money to charity too for everyone that's bought, right? Like you're Yeah,
I give a minimum of 10% of every dollar that comes in from the Miracle Morning to charity, including during this year. It's funny, I had Jeremy Caton, my buddy. I love it. The Miracle Morning, we've donated over $500,000 to charity from the book proceeds over the last 8 years. And that's, which is a lot more than 10%.
That's amazing, Hal. Yeah.
And so, thank you. But the movie is the same. Like, I'm not, it's not like I'm like, well, I'm not going to give. For me, just that's the minimum that I will give to, to those less fortunate, and the movie will be the same thing. And what was the other thing I want to share? Oh, you mentioned, you're getting 300 tickets for people. If you want, and a lot of people are getting, 2 or 3 tickets. If you get 1 ticket, that's for your whole household, by the way, or anyone that's at your house, right? Like, you don't have to buy one for your mom, dad, sister, brother. Like, if you're in the house, that's great. It's people that are outside of your house that you would want to get a ticket for. And what happens is when you buy a ticket, you'll see when you change the quantity, there's discounts for, higher quantities. But even if you get like 2 tickets, you'll get an email with a little Google form where you put the other person's email address in that you want to send the ticket to, and we'll do it. Or if you have a company and you want to upload 100 email addresses, we'll do it. Just upload a CSV file or whatever. So, so it's a cool kind of, early Christmas gift. And I think when you go to the website, miraclemorningmovie.com, you'll see at the top, we could all use a miracle in 2020. And I really think this is a beautiful way to end the year with a really uplifting message that we could all use that actually can be life-changing, not just make you feel good for an hour.
Thank you so much, Hal. Like, I really appreciate this today and helping everyone with everything that you do on a regular basis. And it's a joy spending time with you today. Like, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kristin. It's very mutual.
Well, everyone, you heard it here, and please get a Miracle Morning book and a Miracle Morning movie. Check out the premiere on the 12th, and have a good day, everybody.